the open government partnerships. And just to also let you in on the fact that the topic today will be on the role of OGP in ensuring fiscal discipline in managing public resources accountability. So this discourse, which is also bordered around this topic, is proudly sponsored by the European Union, EU, Socio-Economic Rights and Development Center, that's SERDEC, and the Open Government Partnership, that's the OGP. Our guest is in the person of Mr. Chris Nwadoka. Now, he serves as the special advisor to the executive chairman of the Fiscal Responsibility Committee. And as a key figure in promoting fiscal discipline and accountability, he is coming with valuable insight into this discourse this morning. I want to say a big thank you and welcome to you for stepping into the studio, Sir Chris.
Thank you very much.
Awesome. I like the fact that the OGP is all encompassing in terms of it goes beyond the age, whether you're a child, a teenager, youth, grown up, even the elderly. It's an all-inclusive package. And it does feel good at this time to note that we are looking at the role of OGP in ensuring fiscal discipline, especially in management of public resources as well as accountability. But before we jump into the discourse proper, it is best for us to quickly, touch on some of these terms so that the listener will have a better understanding of what the conversation is about. So I'm just going to run through that, and then, of course, we get into the questions proper, if that's okay.
Oh, that's okay, but just allow me to
All right.
State that I am Chris Nwadoka.
Nwadoka.
Not Nwadoka.
Oh, my bad.
Nwadoka.
Nwadoka.
Yeah, sounds strong.
Strong. Nwadoka.
I'm also
right.
the special advisor to the executive chairman of Fiscal Responsibility Commission, a commission of government set up for the purposes of fiscal transparency, which is what we're discussing today.
Exactly.
Thank
So,
you.
Chris Nwadoka.
That's right.
That's right. That's something. Now, the OGP stands for Open Government Partnership. Is a group of countries working together to make their governments more open, transparent, as well as accountable to the people. And they're also right here in Nigeria. Now, what you might want to ask the question, fiscal discipline. What does it mean? It means being careful and responsible with money, especially when managing public money, such as taxes, for the benefit of everyone in a country. And then management of public resources refers to how the government handles money, assets, and services that belong to the public, like taxes, public lands, schools, hospitals, you name it. Accountability, you all know, but in case you don't, let us also intimate you. It also means responsible for your actions and decisions and being answerable to others like the public, or lawmakers about how you handle things like public money. But then if you also ask questions about what is public resources, now all of these means public resources are things that belong to or are managed by the government for the benefit of the public and the people in a country. Now, let's jump into, some of these questions now. We talk about fiscal responsibility. How does OGP promote fiscal responsibility?
Thank you so very much. I would say OGP is basically fiscal responsibility.
Oh.
In fact, let me go right back to the entire concept of open government.
Yeah.
What's government? Nobody is born as government. Government is a number of people who represent us, who speak for us, who manage the resources and manage day-to-day life on our behalf, manage public decisions on our behalf. That's what government is. Everybody is born a child, whether in a king's palace or in a ghetto. But some people take to being welders, some will be doctors, some will be so on and so forth. But at some point, some people say, okay, why don't you handle public decisions on our behalf?
Okay.
On our behalf. Government works on behalf of the citizens. There is no government without citizens. So when you now say, let open government, let this government be open, because you're working on our behalf, let's know what you're doing, let's be part of the decision-making process, let's know which of the decisions you've taken, and as you're executing the decisions, let's know what the results or the outcomes are.
Anticipation.
That's open government. Some
Right.
people came together and said, listen, let's country by country, let's countries sign up to this initiative. Nigeria has signed up to the initiative.
Okay.
Now, there's an aspect that concerns fiscal issues. Fiscal is government revenue and government expenditure.
Right.
So, in government, public revenue, public expenditure, let there be openness. Let the people know let the people have a say in what goes into the budget. Let the people know what is decided as a budget. Let that budget be respected.
Right.
As the budget is being implemented, let's know what the implementation framework is, and let's know what the let's have budget implementation reports. Let's know what's going on. When money is not coming in enough as you expected, you projected in the course of preparing the budget, get back to us. Let's be informed. So when you say, okay, how does OGP impact fiscal
transparency?
Fiscal transparency. OGP basically is fiscal transparency.
Okay.
That aspect of
Okay.
it.
Okay.
So if you're going to practice open governance, the fiscal transparency is a key part of it.
Okay, now let's jump into the place where some would want to quickly ask about accountability mechanisms, right? One of such would be how does the OGP ensure accountability in public finance? Quite a number of times we've seen where Nigerians and family members on here on this dial have said, hey, what we need is accountability. People cannot account for certain finances. And so it takes us to a place of what accountability tools does OGP advocate for in fiscal management?
I like the way OGP structured accountability.
Okay.
You know, we hear accountability. We hear it a lot in the political space, in the social media space, in the social society space. But OGP has taken its time. You know, the accountability means first at the beginning we need to make certain commitments, commit ourselves to certain transparency, certain specific thresholds, you know. So people in government with people outside government represented by civil society, we co-create levels, so to speak, of accountability to say, okay, by this time, let me give you an example.
Is that projections or what?
No, not necessarily.
Not projections, okay.
Reporting.
Okay.
Carry people back. Let me give you an example. There, in Fiscal Responsibility Act, there's an element called the budget implementation report. It says, as you're implementing the budget, after every quarter, account to the people. That's prepare a budget implementation report. That should be done by the Ministry of Finance and send it to the Fiscal Responsibility Commission, send it to the public generally. You can put it on Ministry of Finance website. That's accountability. That's giving an account of what you're doing.
Okay.
So in the case of OGP, they have these benchmarks and threshold things that are agreed on, you know, that should be done. So from time to time, you know, you have accountability partners that look at it and say, how far are we from here? What has cost us not to go as far as we had projected would go, even if our projections were particularly ambitious, it doesn't matter. What can we do to go to hit the mark? Do we need to readjust? You know, the OGP has what they call for each country a national action plan.
Yeah.
So we put that plan and don't put up a plan that is co-created by government agents and working together with civil society agents and go to sleep. From time to time, ask those questions. Then, generally in the fiscal space, I must get back to that. The ministers, whether of budget, whether of finance, or whatever portfolio they hold, are accountable to the people. The president is accountable to the people in the sense that from time to time he will give us a state of affairs, you know, That is what accountability is.
Right, but can I also, I want to be clear on something. Now, accountability does not necessarily mean judgment or being judgmental. Does it mean feasibility studies?
No.
What exactly is it? I mean, how do we see it?
Accountability just
Because some
means
people would want to judge
report
you.
to me.
Okay, just report.
Just
Okay,
report to me.
give me the statement of account. Let me know what's
Yes,
going on.
It may be good, it may be
Bad,
but
right.
by Jove, tell me this is what the situation is, and be honest about it. Of course, if you tell me this is what the situation is, if the situation is not good, because we run some very competitive democracy, it's possible that your opponent could lash in on it to flog you. It's also possible that simply knowledgeable and innocent people who wish well for the system will give you ideas on by all means account to the people. Give an account, not only the people. For instance, there's an obligation that the entire government account will be audited, and an audited financial statement will be produced for each year before by the 6th month, by the end of the 6th month of the next year. It's accountability. Is auditing the entire things.
Okay.
Producing
Awesome.
it and putting it up for where citizens will see.
All right. Talking about citizens, I'm glad you mentioned that word. Let's look at citizens' engagement in the process. How does the OGP engage citizens in fiscal decision-making process, especially when you look at a place of how does citizen engagement improve fiscal discipline and responsibility, and accountability, if you like.
Fantastic. Great question.
Right.
Like I said again, the space, the resources belong to the people. The government represents the people. Then the people, but the people need to be engaged, need to be involved in those decisions. There is also some form of laxity on the part of the people to say, you go there, you are the people who know the route to the state capital, you are the people who know the route to the local government, I will go take your decision. Me, I'm just a farmer. That's if you leave it at that, if the government, those at the top of the governance echelon, are comfortable with that, the society will not run well.
Okay.
The government and the people at the top, because they are co-creators in OGP, bend backwards to bring the will of the people, to bring the views, not necessarily the will, to bring the views of the people. So get the people engaged. At which points do you get them engaged? And like you mentioned, fiscal issues. One is what should be in the budget. I know at least one state that gets citizens involved in planning their budgets. Okay, what do you want? Which road do you want constructed? At least express a view. Allow people to express their view. That view may not be carried, okay, but there is a satisfaction in saying that we told the government when the government asked us. So let government not be a set of people who appear to know it all.
So let me ask you.
A sense of involvement.
Yeah, let me ask you this. At some point you said, we should people. You blamed it a bit on the people, saying they show some laxity. Could this mean that the people are unwilling to be a part of the process? Because we have seen a situation where the people are woke. They are willing, but then the medium, the opportunity is not given. In such a situation, do you still blame the people for being lax?
Well, it cuts both ways. I'll give you an example.
Okay.
Between 2018 and 2020, the World Bank gave a $1.5 billion, $2 billion loan. We are talking dollars now.
Yes.
The federal government disbursed it to states as a grant, not a loan now. So state governments use it, federal government is owing for it. Now what was the purpose of the loan? It's under a framework called the SIFTA, State Fiscal Accountability and Transparency Transparency and Sustainability Program.
Okay.
All that it required was, look, state, you want to have a bit of this money, what you should do is ensure that you have your budgets online, your annual budgets for the states, have it online, then have a citizen version of the budget,
Okay.
then have budget implementation report that you also put up. That means you must also have a website. Before then, very few states had
Websites.
like websites. Then you should have, I mentioned budget implementation report. Then you should audit your accounts as and when due, then put the audit report online, then create an office for the Auditor General for local government and for the states, let it be independent. These are not rocket science.
Yeah.
These are basic things you should do in governance. It's not complex. Okay. Now, states have done it. You ask me, do we blame the individual?
Yes.
States have done that.
Okay.
States did it at least because they were incentivized and they had to enjoy the $1.5 billion. After they have put up those information online, who is using it? This has been my challenge. After 2020 or was it 2022, sorry, when SIFTAS ended, my question has been, where is the demand side of this? What are the professors, what are the lecturers of economics doing? What are they doing with this data? What are the CSOs doing with the data? What are the young people doing with the data? Who are those asking questions? It's not enough to hold this gist inside a bus, you know, to raise those gist in a beer parlor and in street corners. But get the data and speak to the data, break it down. Maybe the next question will be who we break it down to the level that is understandable.
Right. Well, anyways, though, we're still looking into matters that concern open government partnership. And yes, our guest is on here, giving his voice into the discourse. And just to refresh our minds, the role of OGP in ensuring fiscal discipline in the management of public resources and accountability. But now we will ask, some questions. It might be a bit of a fleet for want of time. One of such will be based on the anti-corruption measure. Another will be about the fiscal oversight. So I'm just going to merge both together. How does the OGP strengthen fiscal oversight? That's on the one part. And how does OGP combat corruption in public resource management? These are the two basic questions Nigerians would like to know.
Allow me, as you reintroduce the topics, for me to also reintroduce myself. My name is Chris
Owadoka.
Yes,
All
I'm
right.
an economist.
Okay.
I'm the special advisor to the Executive Chairman of Fiscal Responsibility Commission. OGP is one of the most potent tools for anti-corruption. It is a people power. OGP is people power. When you you bring people to co-create the direction, the policies, the principles, the economic policies as it were, and the people have their eyes on the numbers as the numbers move, and the people see the policies and the consequences of the policies. The people can make their decisions. People can also keep their eyes on the money. You know, if there's transparency, if there's accountability, which is to say you also report to who you should report to and ultimately report to the people. When there is a hole in the money space, it will be noticed. So those whose responsibility it is to manage public resources are a bit more careful. They are circumspect when it comes to cleaning the public till and pocketing it. You know, this is the hugest, the biggest, and the most potent power in anti-corruption. Even the anti-corruption agencies are careful about people power. People have their eyes. OGP still places everybody in. You know, they say sunlight is the best disinfectant. You know, when you place everybody under the sun and everybody is seeing what you're doing, then you'll be careful with corruption. In my place, they say where a mother and the children are eating and there's no light, there are 3 pieces of meat, 2 children, 1 mother. You don't begin to ask who took this meat, bring the light to. Because there should be confidence. But then, I don't know if I have time to explain this. It used to be in Nigeria that because of the confidence the system had on those who manage public resources, you would allow them to do it, believing that they will use their best of judgment, believing also that they were experts, as it were, they knew what they were doing. But that generation post-independence birth to another generation who either out of not knowing enough, or out of possibly not being sincere enough, things started going south. And then around 2005, the federal government sent an executive bill to, that's long before Nigeria adopted the OGP.
Okay.
The federal government under Obasanjo sent a bill to the House of Assembly called the Fiscal Responsibility Bill. And the principle, the philosophy is this: let's not allow governance just in the hands of individuals. Let's build some rail guards for them. Yes, you can take decisions, but don't move too far this way, don't move too far that way, and put your decisions in the open. So that's the Fiscal Responsibility Act. Then the OGP, of course, has reinforced that. So if you want to steal, those who want to steal public funds, those who want to be corrupt, try to obfuscate the open governance system and do it in the dark. That's what it is.
All right. Well, looking at matters that concern performance metrics, how does the OGP measure fiscal discipline outcomes, and what metrics does the OGP use to assess fiscal accountability impacts?
OGP has an elaborate system that's agreed ahead of time. This is a bit technical, but it has an elaborate system, and this system is from country to country.
Okay.
They also try to OGP tries to include recognition of the local situation, but it does not change goalposts midway. I don't have on my fingertips that for Nigeria, but there are very clear boxes to tick. So it's not a hidden thing.
Okay.
But if you and I go to sit under the mango to discuss accountability, we probably will say, they don't steal tire. These people, no. OGP doesn't do that. OGP will use its matrices, A, B, C, D, and those matrices also circle around. Did we co-create? Did the government and the citizens co-create? When they co-created, what were the targets, and how have they met those targets? How does OGP measure the targets? OGP has a team of specialists that keep their eyes on that ball and keep watching and keep ticking. So OGP is serious business to the best of my knowledge.
All right, OGP is serious business right there. In terms of capacity building, how has the OGP built capacity for fiscal management? And then we take it to the place of sustainability. What strategies does the OGP advocate for ensuring long-term fiscal sustainability as well?
Number one strategy is the people engagement.
Okay.
Let this thing belong to the people, not a set of technocrats who are somewhere ticking the boxes and setting questions for government. So sustainability, get people to say, this is what we want government to look like, and this is what we want government to do in this period. So it is the people, it is open. There's no bigger sustainability strategy than that. Then at the end of the day, the OGP guys will also gather civil society again and get the government together in the same room to say, well, you remember we met last time and this is our action plan. This is a report of how far we have come with this action plan. If you have disagreements, we would like to hear. So at the end of the day, there's a report. This is what it is. But here is the challenge. The challenge is just too much information now. It's not like it's not like when I was young. We just had 2-3 radio stations.
Okay.
When something is said on the radio station, my whole village, the whole state will know. On the radio they said this. My grandmother will say, you shouldn't do this. That's what they said on the radio yesterday. But today there is so much information. There's an information overload. So it's also very expensive to inform the entire people of the progress you're making, of the benchmarks that have been met, and so on. OGP is doing its best, but funding has sort of become is always an issue when you have to sensitize a whole larger population, which is why I praise you now for yielding this time
Right.
to OGP to inform the people. Government is the government that we practice, governance that we practice is government of the people, for the people, and by the people. OGP is also a government of the people. This government of the people, make it open to the people. Don't hide part of it in your pocket. Fiscal responsibility is also public funding of the people, by the people, and for the people, including issues of public debt.
All right.
Thank you.
Well, I mean, I would have loved to go further, but I think I should throw this one in as very, very important. How does OGP ensure policy coherence in fiscal management? Just a straight answer will do. How does it do? How does it, ensure it?
Fantastic.
Yeah.
In the first place, there is a co-creation. I'll
Okay.
go back to that.
Yeah.
Everybody looks at the economy in fiscal space, and this is a policy. What are the policies in place at this point in time? What are the changes that are being, okay, this is what's going on. So there is coherence. There are people looking at it. There are people who say, okay, we agree with this. There are people who say, that's a coherence.
Okay.
So people involvement, as they say, all eyes on government.
Yeah.
You have that. There's coherence. You can't just throw in one dark horse, without explaining how it fits into the milieu.
system. Yeah, okay.
Let the people be involved.
Right. So
That's
OGP is all about allowing the people to be involved,
Absolutely.
allowing the government to also understand what the yearnings of the people is about.
Yeah,
So we
maybe
can
not
build
allowing, sir. Maybe
Okay, not allowing.
It's involving.
involving.
Yeah,
Okay, more of an involvement.
Yeah, co-involvement. People
All inclusive.
involve government. Government
Involves
involve
people. So it's a mishmash. So everybody is intertwined, so
Yeah,
to speak.
Nobody owns nobody.
Anyways, this is a beautiful conversation, though. Yes, we've been looking at the role of the OGP in ensuring fiscal discipline in the management of public resources, accountability, and our guest has been none other but Mr. Uwadoka.
That's right.
Chris.
Wadoka.
Wadoka, Chris. Now, he has brought valuable insights to the discourse. And just to also let you in on the fact that he serves as a special advisor to the executive chairman of the Fiscal Responsibility Committee. And
Commission, sir.
Commission, I beg your pardon, Commission. And this program is proudly sponsored by the European Union Social Economic Research and Development Center, SERDEC, and the Open Government Partnership. And that will be all for today. Until we come your way, same time, same station.